First grade friends, happy Hump Day Wednesday. I'm coming to you today from outside, as you can see, because today we're going to be skywriting, and I thought, what better way to skywrite than to actually write in the sky? So if we hear a little bit of noise in the background, that's okay. We're just going to ignore it, and we're going to focus, and we're going to be marking our words today. So you are going to need your dry erase board and marker, or, of course, if you don't have that, paper and pencil. And always, always, always our listening ears. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, as always, we are going to echo our sounds. All right, so I want you to repeat after me. A, apple, A. A, safe, A. E, ed, E. E, peat, E. I, itch, I. I, pine, I. O, octopus, ah. O, home, O. U, up, up. U, mule, U. U, rule, U. Okay, and let's do just a few of our vowel teams. Try to choose some that we haven't done in a while. Let's see, what haven't we done? Let's do E-A, eat, E. And A-Y, play, A. Let's do O-O, school, oo. O-O, book, A W, saw, aw. Okay, great job. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to review a few of our trick words before we look at our trick words for this week. Okay, so the first one was a word from last week. What is this word? Called. And remember, it's the word call with suffix ed, which means you already did it. I called my best friend this morning. Okay, then our other trick word was water, right? I know we've all been drinking lots of water on these hot days. Okay, and then this one was our word from a few weeks ago, right. And this kind of right, remember, is a homophone, not like right, that is right, or right like your right hand. This is right where you actually are going to write like our words today we're going to write. Remember, WR is a digraph. The W silent. And here's another homophone that we talked about. There. Okay? This kind of there is like people, right? Like the other place there, like that is over there, is a place. This one means people, and it belongs to them, like it is their house. Then I thought I'd throw this one in here because it's been a little while since we talked about titles. So these are titles of people. Like a man, like your dad, would be Mr. And Mrs. means this is like someone who's married. Okay, so these are special words. That's a short way to write a longer word. Do you remember what these words are called? These words are called abbreviations. Can you say that? Abbreviations. That's a long word. Abbreviation is a short way to write a word, and so it always gets a period at the end. So these two are abbreviations for Mr. and Mrs., and they are titles for people. So now let's look at our two new trick words. Okay? This one I didn't have a card for, so I had to make a card for almost. And if we look at almost, we see that it has AL, and we know that all is actually ALL. But in this word, it's only one L. One of the reasons why it makes it a tricky word. Another reason it makes it a tricky word is that the O says its name, but there's no silent E there because we have most. So we have almost. That's a two-syllable word, right? Almost, when we talked about breaths of air. So let's see, can we think of a sentence for almost? Like I can think of, it is almost Friday, right? We only have 2 more days till Friday, right? Or I am almost finished with that. Okay, now let's look at our other word before we skywrite. This one actually has 3 words on there because they all have AY, play A at the end. So if you can remember your vowel team, it's easy to remember that we just put the letter in front of our vowel team, AY. So our trick over this week is way. Okay? And they all sound the same because they all have AY that say A, so they're rhyming words, right? Day, may, way. We're just focusing on way today, since that's our spelling word for the week. Can you think of a sentence with way? I can think of, I know my way to the mall. Okay? Or like, my friend is way over there on the playground. So can you think of a sentence with way? All right, so now we are going to skywrite our words, and I'm going to point around and point to the sky. And remember, we always use big, strong arms whenever we do this, no wimpy arms. Okay, and we're going to skywrite it together, and I'm going to hold up our first word, way. So let's skywrite way. W-A-Y, way. And then remember, you are going to do it on your desk or whatever you have in front of you, and you're going to do it with your finger. So let's do it with our finger and say W-A-Y, way. Now let's do our other trick word, almost. So I'll hold it up so you can see it, and then we're going to skywrite it in the sky. Ready? A-L-M-O-S-T, almost. Now you skywrite that with your finger. A-L-M-O-S-T, almost. Great job. So now you are going to need your board and your dry erase marker. So before we do that, let's look at our spelling words and let's say them together. Ready? Let's do habit, spandex, cobweb, muffin, expire, dispute, campfire, athletes, way, almost. So we are going to do a few sentences together, and I hear some of my neighbors are outside, so just ignore that, okay? Because they're out playing just like you do. They want to get outside. So let's look at our words, and let's see. Let's do the word habit. Let's do habit. So remember, we do the syllables because they're all two-syllable words. So we think we have it, habit. So I hear my first syllable, ab. Okay, and then I hear it, it. Okay, now let's mark this word. And remember, whenever we say we don't have two consonants here, we're going to always do the first closed syllable. That's where it ends. So we have hab, and then we have it, habit. Okay, and because those are closed syllables, we're going to put a C, and they both get a breathe because they say the short sound. And that's the rule for a closed syllable, is that it has one vowel, the door is closed, and the vowel says the short sound. Okay? Now, if any time I'm going way too fast for you, it's okay. Pause the video. Anytime you need to pause, just do that, because I can't see where you're at. Some boys and girls may have it faster, and some boys and girls need a little more time, and that's okay. Pause the video. It's just fine. Okay, now let's do the word cobweb. And actually, that two-syllable word is a compound word because we have cob, web, cobweb. Remember, compound words are two words put together. So the first one I hear ka-ob. And just like we talked about, it's usually a C at the beginning of most words. So I hear ob. That's my first syllable. My second syllable is web. So I hear wa, b. Cobweb. You know what cobwebs are? Sometimes they look like little spider webs in our house, right? Or something that's dusty. I try not to get those in our house, but sometimes it happens. So we're always going to separate it between the two words in the compound word and the two consonants. So we have cob, web. Okay, and those are both closed syllable, like we said. And they both get a breathe because they say the short sound. That's all. There's no digraphs, there's no blends, just cobweb. Okay? So let's do another word. Let's do athletes. Now, that one has something at the end. What does that have at the end? Suffix S, because it means more than one. Do you know what an athlete is? Someone who plays sports, right? If you do sports, then you're an athlete. I bet you guys are all a bunch of athletes in first grade. So let's think about our syllables that we hear. I hear athlete, athlete, athletes. So let's think about our first syllable, ath. I hear a, and then I hear th. So that's going to be digraph th. That's our first syllable. Then I hear leet. So I hear o, then I hear e, and then I hear t. Now I need something to make that e long because it says athlete, not athlete. So we have to have a silent e at the end. And then it's more than one, so at the end we're going to add suffix s. Remember, this would not be suffix es even though it looks like it, because when I cover up my s, that's my base word athlete. So let's see how we mark it. So we said the first syllable is ath. That is a closed syllable because it has one vowel and the door is closed and it says a. Our next syllable would be leet, and that's a vowel consonant e syllable, just like we said. It has to have sneaky silent e at the end. So I'm going to underline that. Okay, and so we're going to put a C for closed, and we'll put a vowel consonant E for E consonant E. It's almost like Pete, but with leet, right? With an L. So the A gets a breathe. We're going to underline digraph TH. The E will get a macron, the first E, and then the second E gets a slash. And then of course we're going to circle our suffix S, and our base word is athlete. That is a lot to do to that word, isn't it? Did you get all that? I did this one with you because it's a little tricky, because now I want to give you a word to try to do all by yourself. I want you to try to do, let's look at our words. Which one should we do all by yourselves? Let's do expire. I want you to write and mark expire. So let's think about the syllables that we hear. I hear expire. So you pause the video, you write and see if you can find everything there is to mark for the word expire. Okay, let's check it and see how you did. So the first syllable here is X, and if you remember, we said that's not an S because it says X. So our first syllable is EX, just like an excuse, you know, when we have that word. Then we have pyre. That sounds funny, doesn't it? But I hear P, I, There's no Y in that word, even though it kind of sounds like it. Anytime you hear ire, it's I-R-E. And expire just means like something's done, like if you have milk or something in the refrigerator and it expires, or your time is up, it expires. So that's all that means. It's like it's done. So we're going to look at our syllables in this word. The first one is a closed syllable, X, because it has one vowel, the door is closed, and it says E. Then pyre is a vowel consonant E word because I see sneaky silent super E on the end. Okay, so this is going to be closed, and this is going to be a vowel consonant E syllable in that word. Then I hear E, like I said, so the E gets a breathe. And then since it's a vowel consonant E word, the I gets a macron, and the E gets a slash. How'd you do on that? These words are kind of tricky. It's been a while since we've learned that, right? But that's okay. We're going to keep practicing. So now I'm going to give you a sentence, and I want you to see if you can write all the words and then go back and see if you can find everything there is to mark it in this sentence. So it's kind of a long sentence today, so I want you to listen very carefully to make sure you get all the words for the sentence. And we're going to do, are we almost finished with our work? So let's say that together and count the words. Are we almost finished with our work? So you pause the video and I want you to write, are we almost finished with our work? And then see if you can mark it. Okay, and come back and we'll check it. Okay, so did you remember your capital letter for the word are? Remember, this word is not our, like that is our classroom. This is the word are, A-R-E, are. Then we said we, are we, and that's just W-E. Then we have our trick word, almost. Remember, it's just one L in that word, all, and then we have most. So we have M-O-S-T. Can you spell almost with me? A-L-M-O-S-T. Are we almost finished? Now, I know I've still got a lot of room, but I'm going to think I'm not going to have enough because finished is kind of a long word. Remember when we had finishes? Well, it's almost the same except it's finished. So I hear two syllables in the base word, finish. So I hear in, and then I hear ish. Okay? So I have two I's, finish, and then I put ed at the end. Okay? So remember suffix ed? That doesn't say ed. It's not finish ed. Do you hear it? Or d? Say it with me. Finished. I hear T. Finished. Are we almost finished with, we can sound that one out, right? What? It. Our this time is like it belongs to us because it's our work. So we're going to use A-O or O-U-R. Then I'm going to come back down here because I know to put something at the end. And I'm not going to have room. And do you remember work was our trick word that we had not long ago? It has O-R, W-O-R-K. Now let's think about what we need at the end. Are we almost finished with our work? I'm asking a question. So we're going to need a question mark at the end of that word, that sentence. Now let's see if you found everything there is to mark it. There's actually a lot of trick words in this because are is a trick word. We're going to circle it. Oops, let me make that a little better. We is a trick word. Almost is our trick word. Finished is not. Finished, we sounded out. Remember, we said it's a two closed syllable word, fin-ish. So we're going to give it two little C's. And so that means the I's going to breathe. As they say it, we underline digraph SH. And then we circle suffix ed, and then what is our base word? Finish. Okay. With also is not a trick word. We can sound it out, if. So it has digraph th, it gets a breathe, and it's also a closed syllable word. It says if, and the door is closed. Our is a trick word, and work we said was a trick word. It was a trick word for spelling. So how did you do with all that? You guys are getting really good at marking your sentences. We've been learning a lot, right? So what I want you to do today is you're going to do rainbow spelling with your spelling words. And remember we said we at least use 3 colors. So if there's so many colors in the rainbow, we can at least use 3 for rainbow spelling, right? So happy spelling. Have a great, wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.